They promised us a new beginning, but what we got was another heartbreak. The Dream of Yellowstone, 6666, the spin-off that was supposed to keep the legacy alive, has just been officially canceled. After years of waiting, of rumors, of hope, Taylor Sheridan has pulled the plug. The same man who gave us the Duttons, who made us fall in love with the land, the cattle, and the chaos, has now taken away what could have been the most authentic story of the Yellowstone universe. But the question is, why now? What went wrong with 6666, and how did a show with so much potential end up buried before it ever began? From the moment Taylor Sheridan first teased Yellowstone, 6666, fans felt a spark of hope. After all, this wasn't just another spin-off. This was supposed to be the continuation of the Yellowstone legacy, set in the heart of Texas, where cowboys still live and breathe by rules older than time. The legendary 4-6's Ranch, a place built on blood, sweat, and history, was going to be the center of it all. Sheridan didn't just want to film there. He bought the actual ranch. A $350 million property spread across thousands of acres. Pure cowboy country. The plan was simple yet powerful. Capture real ranch life, unfiltered, raw, and deeply American. But behind that vision, something darker was brewing. For nearly 3 years, the project hung in uncertainty. Every update we got, every leak, every small hint, made it sound like things were moving forward. We were told that the script was in development, casting was happening, locations were being secured, and even that Jimmy, played by Jefferson White, was preparing to take center stage. Fans imagined it all, Jimmy finding his place at the ranch, carrying the Dutton legacy in his own way, surrounded by new characters, new rivalries, and that same Yellowstone fire. Then came the silence. No trailers, no announcements, no behind-the-scenes glimpses. Just complete radio silence from both Sheridan and Paramount. Some thought they were saving it for a surprise reveal, maybe during the final episodes of Yellowstone Part 2. But deep down, others feared what has now become reality. That 6666 was in trouble from the start, and the signs were all there if you looked closely. Paramount's restructuring, the sudden sell-off talks, the ongoing drama between Sheridan and the network, and the massive delays of Yellowstone's final season, they were all warning us. Sheridan's empire was growing too big, too fast. With multiple series like 1923, 1883, and Lawmen, Base Reeves, something had to give. And sadly, that something was 6666 still. This cancellation hurts differently. Because unlike other projects that got lost in the chaos, 6666 was personal, both to Sheridan and to us. It wasn't just another TV show, it was a tribute to the cowboy spirit, a story that was supposed to connect modern viewers to the roots of America. Sheridan even described it once as a living museum, a place where tradition still rules, where the land owns the people, not the other way around. And to see that dream crushed before it even got a chance feels like losing a part of Yellowstone itself. Fans on Reddit started whispering about the cancellation weeks ago. An insider revealed that the studio quietly shelved 6,666 months back, but no one wanted to make it official. At first, it sounded like another rumor until Jefferson White's IMDb page changed. His name was removed from the 6666 project entirely. The one man who carried Jimmy's legacy was no longer attached. And that's when the truth began to unfold. By the time Paramount started removing 6,666 references from their production listings, it became clear. This wasn't a delay, it was a death sentence. The show was gone. Sheridan, once passionate about bringing the Texas ranch life to our screens, had gone silent on the topic. No press statements, no interviews, no defense. Just silence. And that silence said it all. But how could this happen? How could a project with millions invested, a real ranch purchased, and a passionate fan base simply vanish? Some say it was money. Others say it was ego. Maybe it was both. After Sheridan's explosive success, Paramount gave him almost complete creative freedom. But freedom comes with a price, and maybe 6666 was too much even for him to handle. Still, as fans, it's hard not to feel betrayed. We watched Jimmy's story unfold in Yellowstone. We followed him to Texas. We were promised that his new life would become the heart of 6,666. It was supposed to be about redemption, growth, and the cowboy code in its purest form. And now, it's nothing but a ghost story, one more dream lost in the dust of the Yellowstone universe. And yet, there's something strange about this silence. Something that doesn't quite add up. Why would Sheridan buy the ranch, invest hundreds of millions, and then abandon the show entirely? Unless there's more to this story than we're being told. Every time Taylor Sheridan spoke about Yellowstone, 6666, his tone carried a sense of pride, the kind of pride that comes from building something real. He said the ranch wasn't just a set, it was a world that lived and breathed. He wanted to capture cowboys who woke up before sunrise, men and women who fought the weather, the cattle, and the harsh land itself. So, how could someone so deeply connected to this vision just walk away? The truth, it seems, lies buried under a mountain of creative clashes, corporate greed, and timing that couldn't have been worse. Let's start with the Paramount problem. When the Yellowstone franchise exploded, Paramount tried to claim complete control over every spin-off, every storyline, and every new universe Sheridan wanted to create. But Sheridan isn't the kind of man who likes being told what to do. He's a cowboy in his own right, stubborn, free-willed, and fiercely protective of his vision. Insiders say that tensions began when Paramount started pushing for faster production and more Yellowstone-related shows to fill their streaming schedule. Sheridan, however, believed that 6,666 needed time. Time to build the world, to write the right story, to cast the right people, and when the network didn't agree, cracks began to form. Contracts turned messy. Budgets ballooned. Rumors of delays spread through Hollywood. It wasn't just about creative direction, it was also about ownership. Sheridan might have bought the 6666 ranch, but Paramount technically funded part of it. That means the studio expected exclusive rights to any production shot there. Sheridan reportedly wanted to use the ranch for multiple projects, not just Yellowstone-related ones, and Paramount said no. That disagreement may have been the first domino to fall. Then came the Kevin Costner storm. His sudden exit from Yellowstone changed everything. Paramount scrambled to figure out how to finish the main show without its lead, and all energies shifted there. Every spin-off, including 6666, got shoved to the sidelines. Sheridan had to rewrite scripts, adjust timelines, and focus on closing Yellowstone properly. The result? 6666 sat untouched, waiting, forgotten, but there's more. Behind the scenes, Sheridan's schedule became a nightmare. He was working on 1923, 1883, Lioness, Lawman, Bass Reeves, and several other projects all under his deal with Paramount. Insiders described his workload as inhuman. He was writing, producing, and overseeing multiple universes at once. Something had to give, and unfortunately, 6666 was the project that didn't fit the puzzle anymore. Yet, even with all that chaos, fans kept believing. The rumors of Jefferson White's return, the whispers that Jimmy and Teeter's love story would continue in Texas, the IMDb listings, it all gave us hope. Until the small details began to vanish one by one. The official 6666 Instagram page went quiet. The teaser image disappeared from Paramount's press library. Mentions of the show were removed from Sheridan's interviews. It wasn't a cancellation announced with fireworks. It was a slow fade into silence, like the last dying ember of a campfire. And the saddest part? The 4-6's ranch itself still stands, a massive, living monument to what could have been. Sheridan still owns it. Cowboys still ride there. The land still breathes the same spirit that inspired him in the first place. But it's no longer a TV dream. It's just a piece of reality now, locked away from the audience that wanted to see it most. Some reports say Paramount's financial restructuring after its rumored sellout sealed the deal. With executives changing hands and budgets being slashed, expensive rural dramas suddenly didn't look appealing to the board. They wanted safe, short-term hits, not massive, risky projects like 6,666 that required real ranching, real equipment, and a cast that actually knew how to ride, but others say it was personal. Sheridan may have simply grown tired of fighting, tired of the politics, the rumors, the endless comparisons to Yellowstone. Maybe 6666 was too close to his heart, and watching it get mangled by corporate decisions was more painful than letting it die quietly. Fans online have been calling it the betrayal of the cowboy dream. Because 6666 wasn't just about drama and action. It was supposed to show the truth, a world where men and women worked with their hands, where honor still meant something, where loyalty was measured not in money, but in grit. And now that vision is gone, replaced by a hollow statement that the show is no longer in active development. Still, something doesn't sit right. Sheridan's silence, Paramount's secrecy, and the way every trace of 6,666 disappeared almost overnight. It all feels intentional. Was this cancellation really about creative differences and budgets, or was there a bigger play behind the scenes? Some insiders believe Sheridan might be planning to take the 6,666 concept elsewhere, maybe to a new network or even build it independently once his Paramount deal expires. After all, the man owns the ranch. He owns the idea. What's stopping him from resurrecting it in another form? The story of 6,666 might seem over, but like everything in the Yellowstone universe, nothing stays buried forever. And maybe, just maybe, this cancellation isn't an ending. It's a setup for something even bigger. The news of Yellowstone, 6,666 being officially canceled, spread like wildfire. Within hours, social media turned into a storm of disbelief and heartbreak. Fans who had been clinging to hope for years suddenly found themselves grieving another piece of the Yellowstone legacy. The same voices that once celebrated Taylor Sheridan's genius now questioned his choices, wondering how the man who built a universe around loyalty could so easily abandon one of its most authentic stories. Reddit threads filled with disbelief. Twitter turned into a sea of cowboy emojis, broken hearts, and angry words aimed at both Sheridan and Paramount. "We waited 3 years for this," one fan wrote, "and they just killed it like it was nothing." Another said, "First Costner, now 6666. What's left of Yellowstone anymore?" It wasn't just disappointment, it was betrayal. Fans felt like they'd been strung along with false hope. The studio fed them teasers, articles, interviews, and promises, only to pull the rug right from under them. And the silence from Taylor Sheridan? That hurt the most. He didn't post a statement, didn't give an interview, didn't even drop a cryptic line hinting at a comeback. It's as if he'd vanished. The same man who once talked passionately about preserving cowboy culture had gone completely quiet. For a fandom built on passion, grit, and storytelling, that silence felt louder than any confirmation could. But deep beneath the anger, there's something else, a lingering question. What if this isn't the end? What if Sheridan, true to his storytelling style, is playing a long game? After all, Yellowstone itself rose from ashes. It struggled in its early days, faced budget issues, and even came close to being canceled before becoming the cultural giant it is today. Sheridan is known for his unpredictability, his habit of letting stories breathe before striking again. Maybe 6,660 SAXS death is just another pause in the storm. Here's what's strange. The 4-6's ranch is still operational under Sheridan's control. Production trucks have been spotted there occasionally. People close to the ranch claim there's still TV activity happening, just not under the 6,666 name. Could it be that Sheridan is rebranding the project? Maybe turning it into a different series, with the same characters but a new identity, far away from Paramount's reach? It wouldn't be the first time Hollywood has played that trick. Industry insiders whisper that Sheridan's contract with Paramount is nearing its limit, and once it's over, he'll have the creative freedom to take his ideas wherever he wants. Imagine this, Yellowstone. 6,666 reborn under another studio, free from executive interference, telling the story the way Sheridan always wanted. A show that dives deep into the real-life struggles of modern ranching, corruption in cattle markets, and the fight to protect land from corporate greed. That's the story he always dreamed of telling, and it's possible he hasn't given up on it for now. All that remains is the heartbreak. The dream of watching Jimmy, Teeter, And the rest of the ranch hands build their legacy in Texas has faded into dust. But that heartbreak has also created something powerful: unity. The fans have rallied together, demanding answers, sharing memories, and keeping the hope alive. Every thread, every post, every video keeps the spirit of 6,666 breathing, and maybe that's exactly what Sheridan wants: to see if the world truly wants the story before bringing it back. He's always said that good stories are born from silence, from patience, from the people who refuse to let them die. Maybe this silence, painful as it is part of his plan. Still, there's a haunting thought that lingers in the mind of every fan. If Yellowstone can end, and 6,666 can vanish, what's safe anymore? Sheridan once built an empire where land, loyalty, and legacy ruled above all. But now, it feels like that empire is crumbling, piece by piece, under the weight of fame, money, and endless production deals. Yet, even as everything falls apart, there's a whisper in the dust. Maybe the story of 6,666 isn't over. Maybe it's just resting. Because if there's one thing Taylor Sheridan has taught us, it's that endings in his world are never truly final. Sometimes, the quiet before the storm is just the beginning of something bigger. As fans mourn the loss of what could have been, one thing remains certain: the spirit of Yellowstone, 6,666, still rides across those Texas fields, waiting for the day it can rise again. Until then, the legacy of the ranch lives on, not on our screens, but in our hearts.